If you enjoy the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Accepted is a 2006 American comedy film directed by Steve Pink, marking his directorial debut. The screenplay was written by Adam Cooper, Bill Collage and Mark Perez. The film stars Justin Long, Jonah Hill, Blake Lively and Lewis Black, all in lead roles. The film follows Bartleby Gaines, played by Long, a high school graduate who, after being rejected by every college he applies to, concocts a plan to create a fake university with his friends to convince his parents he's moving forward with his education. As more students, also rejected from other schools, mistakenly apply to the fictional South Harmon Institute of Technology, Bartleby and his friends decide to run it as if it were a real institution. The film was released on August 18, 2006 and received mixed reviews from critics. It would open at number 5 at the US box office, grossing $10 million in its opening weekend, trailing behind Snakes on a Plane, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, which was in its third weekend, World Trade Center in its second weekend, and Step Up, also in its second weekend. By the end of its theatrical run, on October 19, 2006, the film had grossed $36 million domestically and $2.1 million internationally, resulting in a worldwide total of $38.5 million. Unfortunately, on Rotten Tomatoes, the film just holds a approval rating of 38% based on 117 reviews. Some interesting trivia notes. Lewis Black's character says the word f twice, but one was literally bleeped out in order to make the movie PG-13. A lot of the movie was improvised and a lot of the gags were pitched by the actors on the day of shooting. As part of the promotion for the movie at Comic-Con in San Diego, promoters threw a huge welcome party open to the public with a barbecue, beer, skateboarding demos, and a wall where people could write subjects they'd like to study. Justin Long and the other cast members mixed in with the crowd to the point they couldn't even be picked out. Adam Hirschman's actual parents were on hand during the Parents' Day scene where they were placed in the film as Hirschman's character, Glenn's parents. The red fruits that Glenn screams at, "What are you?" are rambutans, a kind of tropical fruit. There are 39 shots of Apple computers in the movie. The star Justin Long became a spokesman for Apple computers. He would go on to star in the commercials "I'm a Mac, I'm a PC" just prior to the release of this movie. The character Ben Lewis was specifically written for Lewis Black to play. Since the college's name is South Harmon Institute of Technology, which is shortened to SHIT, the S word is the most frequently used word, being used 62 times throughout the entire movie. The skateboarder who jumps into the pool behind the motorcycle was professional skateboarder Chad Fernandez. Even though he plays a recent high school graduate, Justin Long was actually 27 when this movie was filmed. As does Maria Thayer, who of course is also supposed to be only a teenager, yet she was 30 when the film was being made. During the hot dog costume scene, Schrader mentions how James Garfield even wore the suit. James A. Garfield, in fact, was a member of the Delta Upsilon International Fraternity, plus the earliest possible date for the invention of hot dogs is 1870. James Garfield graduated from college in 1856, 14 years before hot dogs were supposed to have been invented. Therefore, it is unlikely that James Garfield ever wore a hot dog suit. Garfield also never attended Harmon, as mentioned in the movie. He actually attended Hiram College in northeast Ohio. Garfield later would go on to teach at Hiram and become the president of the institution. Bartleby's parents' names are Jack and Diane. This pays homage to John Mellencamp's 1982 single, Jack and Diane. There is a 9-year age difference between Blake Lively, who plays Monica, and Justin Long, who plays Bartleby. At one point in the movie, Blake Lively's character says that she would like to study the decline and fall of Chevy Chase. Ironically, Chevy Chase would make a resurgence in his acting career in a TV sitcom called Community in 2009, in which his character attends a community college. Although the accreditation scene near the end of the film occurs in front of the Ohio State Board of Education, the proper venue would in fact be the Board of Regents. The Ohio State Board of Education regulates primary and secondary schools in the state, not colleges. Now, Accepted is your quintessential mid-2000s teen comedy that embodies the era's light-hearted, silly spirit. While the storyline is unrealistic and very predictable, the film's charm lies in its effortless watchability and nostalgic value. Justin Long here shines as Bartleby Gaines, a charismatic and resourceful lead who decides to start his own college after being rejected multiple times. Of course, this premise is completely unrealistic. It would never happen in real life, but that sort of goes to the sort of fun and charming aspect of this film. It's not meant to be taken seriously. I found it fascinating here to see a young Jonah Hill and an even younger Blake Lively in their early parts of their careers. Jonah Hill already here shows his charm and likability as he wins you over, playing Bartleby's best friend, Sherman Schrader III. Lively here is playing the sort of stereotypical girlfriend, who hasn't really got much depth and is just there to fall in love with our main protagonist. Lewis Black here is absolutely hilarious as Dr. Ben Lewis, a jaded former Harmon professor and Sherman's uncle, whom Bartleby hires to be the dean of the college. But you almost don't see enough of him in this film. Look, the film is fundamentally easy to follow, with a very straightforward narrative. At the end of the day, it's one of those films where you switch off, sit back, and relax. As I mentioned earlier though, the story is somewhat far-fetched and unrealistic. And the plot twists are very predictable, and so are the character arcs. You can kind of see where everything's going right from the start. And the film does lack a lot of depth and substance. Look, this is fundamentally a fun, mindless comedy that is perfect for those seeking a light-hearted, nostalgic viewing experience. While it certainly won't go down as one of the classics of the era, its cast are charming enough to make it work as a film to watch. If you're a fan of the mid-2000 teen comedies, Accepted is one for you. Pair it with others like Superbad, Napoleon Dynamite or Mean Girls, and this will be a film right up your alley. Although I don't feel it quite lives up to the classic status of some of those films. The one thing that stands out for me in this film, though, is the potential lost here on Justin Long, who really is very likeable as the lead in this film, but his career has never really taken off. And in many ways, this film really works off the back of his performance. As I said earlier, this is a very easy, likeable comedy. By no means groundbreaking, rather formulaic and predictable. Accepted, though, is a charming film to just watch and let the time pass by. Accepted gets a 7 out of 10.